You got water?
Yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. All right. Cool. How you guys doing? Good. Got a good group of people. We're gonna have a lot of people rolling in. Every seat will probably end up getting packed out here in just a few minutes. So it'll be like church. I'll just bring people in. There's a seat here, two here, one there. And so as people just kind of trickle in, guys. But I'm gonna get started out of respect for you guys who are mindful of your time and are here on time. Right? So instead of making you guys wait for everybody else that's late, we'll get started. Cool? Cool. All right. How many people are from Vegas and live here right now? Raise your hand. Okay, so almost all of you guys, a handful of you guys that aren't. Cool. How many people are in real estate that live here and are working? Okay, so about a quarter of you guys maybe. Okay. Now, how many of you guys that are in real estate, whether you're selling it, brokering it, buying it, investing in it, how many of you guys are in commercial real estate? Raise your hand. Okay, almost the same amount of people, just a few less. Okay, how many people by show of hands are also in residential or only in residential? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. Perfect. Great. Now, those of you guys that are in real estate, how many of you guys own an investment property outside of your own single family home that you guys live in? Just to kind of get, okay, good. So about a third of the room. Perfect. Okay, good. So we got a pretty good sophisticated group here. I love that shirt. Yeah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you too.
Cool. All right, guys. So I'm in Vegas really to speak in WealthCon. It's great. My wife came out with me, and my wife doesn't travel with me much because of our kids. So when we usually do these meetups, it's in lieu of wherever my kids are at. If my kids are competing in gymnastics or football, or they have a camp someplace or wherever they're doing, I'll always incorporate a little bit of work and come out and do a meetup wherever I'm at across the country. But for me, it's all family first, and then all this stuff comes second. But I always prioritize you guys to come in and do some trainings no matter where I am throughout the country. And since I was going to be here in Vegas on Saturday, I made it a 3-day deal. So I have 3 different things going on for the next 3 days, and you guys are my first. So welcome down, and thank you guys for coming in and joining us. The biggest thing for today, guys, and one of the things that I'm really focusing on right now is what we're doing and what we've been doing and what's working. I know that there's a lot of people in here that are diversified in real estate. And I can teach you guys a bunch of different stuff that we've done in real estate over the years, because we've done a lot, from wholesaling, from fix and flipping, sub-2. We've done a lot of it. I look at each one of those things as a tool in a toolbox. And just depending on the environment of the world and what we're going through economically, you pull out the tools that you have and you utilize them to make money, okay? And one of the biggest things is that markets change. And right now, we are in an economic market change, are we not? Yeah? How expensive is money right now, guys? The interest rates are killing people. Yeah. How many of you guys are hearing that there's a ton of opportunity in the market today? Like there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of deals that come to the market. You guys hearing that? Yeah. Okay. Where does it exist? Where is it at?
New ground construction.
Okay, but there's things coming out of the ground. New construction. Like as far as multifamily, very few are coming out of the ground right now, right? Why? Cost of money, right? It's just the overall expense of everything, right? We're able to do it, and I'll kind of go through how and why we're able to do it, and I'll tell you guys what you guys should be focusing on. Because one thing, like right now, I have friends and colleagues that are in syndications that are getting freaking crushed right now. Good, honest people that ran great businesses, great business models, very conservative, and they're still freaking getting crushed. You guys know any of them? Yeah? No? You don't know any of them? Okay, so I'm the only one. So we're dealing with a lot of people that are doing institutional purchases, a lot of big 200, 300 unit developments, apartment complexes, and they're getting crushed right now. One of the reasons, guys, and I'll kind of run through it with you guys today, is because of where interest rates are and the cost of money, okay? And when you buy an asset and cap rates are low and values are up and you can get financing on it and money's cheap, it's easier to service the debt on that money. But when you have like a fluctuating mortgage and the money becomes more expensive and the cash flow that you once had now has to service the debt that you're getting, it all of a sudden starts to distress your assets and it puts downward compression on it. And that's where a lot of opportunity is coming from today. Now, look, guys, we went through the recession in the late 90s. We were starting our business at that time. So we were able to kind of work our way through that little recession and then get ourselves into a more stable market. And then we got almost crushed in 2008. How many of you guys lived, worked, and were indebted in the 2008 recession? Raise your hand. So about 5 or 6 of you guys. Okay. So those of us that had the fortunate opportunity to learn something from that recession, we were able to take that stuff and migrate with it. And so one of the things that I learned is really how to set myself up strategically so that anytime that I had anything going on, it was set up to win and just make money. Okay. A lot more conservative. We weren't going after big giant wins right in one single takedown, but it was a business conglomerate that got us there. So one of the biggest things that I like to do is share with you guys one of the business models that I've been utilizing since 1999. And I'm still utilizing it today. I'm still building houses. And I want to share with you guys how you guys can go out and make, 150, 200 grand on every single unit in the single family market. But then how many of you guys would love to be able to see how to abate the taxes and not have to pay federal income taxes when you make profits? How many of you guys would love to learn how to do that? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to kind of push you guys into that as we actually are getting to the tail end of it today. Okay. I'm going to show you guys how we don't pay taxes. In fact, so much so, it was funny. I was on the phone with one of the banks that we have a 150 unit apartment complex that's coming out of the ground in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. It's a $40 million development. It's a $22 million loan on the development, $30 million bill. And the bank calls me up and they go, "Hey, Jerome," they go, your resume is good, your experience is great, your team is awesome, the general contractor is good, everything's great. But he goes, you have no cash flow. He goes, you don't have any expendable money. And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, your taxes only show $75,000 of payroll that you pay to yourself as an employee from one of your companies." He goes, "How are you going to service the debt on this?" I go, "There's friggin' millions and millions of dollars on there every single year." And so the banks look at stuff differently. So we were actually getting underwritten on the loan right now, and it halted for like a few days. And they go, "Hey, your CPA has to give us an explanation on where all this money goes." And so we cost segregate everything, guys. And so much so that we're low income. My kids get free private education. I was paying $1,500 a month for healthcare, and I pay like $50 a month for healthcare for my whole family. We can get better healthcare now at $50 a month, and we did it $1,500 a month. Now, how many people hate me for that? Okay, how many of you guys want to join me? Okay, that's cool. It's all right. And so we have to go in, and because we only give our banks what they ask for, K1s and Schedule Cs from our companies, they only get to see the bottom line number. So when they're seeing negative $1.9 million, negative $150,000, negative, and all our LLCs are negative, they're wondering why the hell all our businesses lose money. But none of them lose money. All of our businesses make money, but we're able to write them off down to zero and even take losses on everything every single year. Now, how many people would love to be in a position where they can do that? Okay, cool. Now, listen, guys, the goal for today is this, and I'll be real transparent with you guys. We come in, and I usually will onboard about 3 to 5 people when I come to a city and take them under my wing and really just help guide them through the fast pacing of making this work, okay? And I know that there's like 3 to 5 really sharp people in here. There's more than that, but there's like 3 to 5 that are really sharp, and they're in the right position today to be able to take advantage of coming and working with our team. So at the end of this, I'm going to offer a few of you guys an opportunity to come in and work with me under my wing. The rest of you guys, I'm going to invite you guys to come out and spend an entire day with me down in Scottsdale, Arizona in October. And in Scottsdale, we're going to do 2 sessions. We're going to do a morning session, afternoon session. You just joined us in Dallas for the same workshop, right? We just did our first workshop in Dallas. How was it?
Amazing.
Was it worth
Yes,
was it worth the trip out there?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know she was going to be here today, but when we went to Dallas, guys, it was the first time we did these workshops. They're friggin' unbelievable. We really just pour into you guys. We buy you guys lunch, and it's just a full day intensive where we feed you with a fire hose, literally. And then you guys come out of there really with an abundance of everything that you guys went there for, okay? So I'm going to invite the whole room to come join me in Scottsdale at the end of this. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's give you guys some value before we get there. Say, Jerome, why don't we start with friggin' today first, and then we'll see where we're going with Scottsdale, right? So here's the thing, guys. How many of you guys would love to learn how to make at least $160,000 over the next 13 months and explain to you guys exactly how to do it month by month? How many of you guys would love to do that? Part-time, guys, part-time. Now, how many people would not benefit from an extra $160,000 a year just as supplemental income? Is there anybody in here that would not take $160,000 part-time supplemental income? Anybody? Okay, everybody would. Here's the thing, guys. Over 65% of our US population would go bankrupt in less than 60 days if they had an alteration of their income in excess of $500. And if they prolong that, they would be delinquent on their assets in less than 60 days, moving up towards bankruptcy thereafter. Did you guys realize that? 65%, $500. Did you guys realize that?
Yes.
Okay, and I know there's people that are sitting in this room today that's sitting there, they're saying, going, if I lost $500 of my income today, it'd put me in a position of financial distress. I wouldn't either be able to pay my house or my car, or I have to change my buying habits for my groceries or what my kids are doing, the clothes that I'm wearing, the shoes on my feet. And so one of the big things is being able to give people an opportunity where they can take advantage of upside income in a real business. Now, it's not like buying cryptocurrency, guys. What I'm going to talk to you guys about today in building houses is a real freaking business. There's plenty of room up here. You can come join us right up front here. Welcome. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Come on up here, bro. Get your ass up here. What are you doing back there? Plenty of seats right here, man. Plenty of seats right there. Come on, join us. Looking sharp, man. Yeah.
Glad to meet you. God bless you.
God bless you. I love that flag on you.
To bless everybody to be as best as they can and be who they want to be and provide the information is a must.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, God bless you.
God bless you.
Yeah, where should I sit?
Yeah, right here, bro. Sit right up front here. Sit right up front here. All right. So look, guys, we're going to teach you guys how to make $160,000. Now, let me share with you guys a little bit about what we do. One of the biggest things is being able to put yourself in a position where you can sell to people that have money. Now, there's people that are in residential real estate and they're crushing in residential real estate. I don't fix and flip houses. We used to do it pre-2008. We stopped doing it in 2008. And the reason why is because there's a very small marginal profit in flipping homes. Okay. Now, I won't say that on Saturday. In fact, Ryan called me like, dude, don't say that for freaking state. Right? And he goes like, fix and flip homes. But I'm just telling you guys the God honest truth. I don't do that because there's just way more friggin' money doing what I do. Okay. That's why I do it. Like if there was more money fixing flipping homes, guess what I'd be doing? I'd be freaking fixing flipping homes, guys. But the reason I do what I do is because I make the largest profits with the least amount of work. Because I have other companies, I have a family, and I have other commitments. I can't afford to be in my homes every single day. So I have a business that I've been able to take on as an additional business with minimal amount of employees. In fact, I had stopped building houses because we were just building commercial stuff. And then when I started teaching it, like 2 years later, I was like, shit. I was like, man, we were making about $160,000 a house. Then I saw my students making like over $250,000 because COVID hit, and then the house prices went through the roof. I'm like, I had students making $300,000 a unit, and I was like, holy shit, we never made more than like 160 a unit. I was like, I want to build a few houses. So with no staff, I took on a commitment of 2 to 4 homes every single year for the last few years, and I really just use them to document the exact process of building houses for you guys and show you guys step by step on YouTube and other channels what we're doing live, and show you guys like, hey, buy a piece of land, do exactly what I'm doing, and take advantage of the upside profits. And I show up to those houses maybe 2 or 3 times a week for about an hour, and that's about it. I was there this morning before I actually flew out over here on one of my houses, and we have another one we're getting ready. In fact, all the plans are sitting on my living room floor, and my wife probably hates them. My wife's in the back over there. She's back there. She can raise her hand. She won't. She's always back. You can raise your hand, baby. You can raise it. Hi. She's like, it's all you. You take the stage. I'll sit back here and hi. You know. So, but she's the backbone to what we do right there. That woman right there. That one right there. She's the backbone. Right there. That one with a big smile on her face, getting embarrassed and red. All right. Now, guys, here's the thing. One of the things that we do is I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about traditional lending. I'm going to show you guys exactly how this works, okay? So when you guys come in, I always tell people, where do you get money? You get money from broke people, or you get money from people that have money? From people that have money, right?
Right.
Okay, so when you're selling homes in a market, there's a recession, do you still go out and sell to the people that are barely able to get into a home, or do you sell to people that have a little bit more affluency? Now, guys, I'm not a genius. All I know is that when you need money, you need to take it from people who have it. And when I was younger, just by default, I got into the residential ground up game in the upper middle class, and I stayed in there. And so by accident, when the 2008 recession hit, I thought my houses were going to take the biggest crush out of everything that I did. The fix and flips, I got crushed on every single one of them. I either broke even or I lost money on 100% of every fix and flip. And I had a massive, crew and a massive company that was going on with hundreds of employees, boots on the ground, projects all over the place, and it was the fix and flips that sucked nectar from me. It was all money that was coming out of projects that we were calling trash can money at the time. And when my wife and I were looking at the books, every single month, every time we were servicing debt on that stuff, we just call it trash can money. And there was a time in 2008 going into 2009 where over $100,000 a month was going in the trash to interest payments. And all of it was either retail buildings or it was median homes that were fix and flips. But one thing that saved us was when we landed up selling the houses. My dad was my accountant at the time. My dad did my books for over 20 years. And when we got to the end of the year of 2008, moving into 2009, he handed up my books and I said, we fire sold those last two houses. And he goes, no, you have, he told me I had a tax bill that I had to pay because I didn't know anything about cost segregation in those days. And he goes, Jerome, you still owe you have a tax bill of like $30-some thousand from those two homes. I said, no freaking way. I didn't make no money. He goes, yeah, you did. I go, I fire sold them. I just like broke even out of them. He goes, no, you made like 52,000 on one and 48,000 on another. How many of you guys like to fire sell a property and still make over $50,000? Raise your hand. Shittiest time economically. Guys, banks are getting crushed. Lehman Brothers is going down. AGI is getting crushed. And then you still make 50,000 on houses that you thought you fire sold. That was the two worst houses we ever had doing what I'm teaching you guys today. Does that make sense? So what we do is we target market the upper 24% of the demographics, okay? This is the upper middle class, okay? We don't go in, we don't build houses in the 300, 400,000, not even the $500,000 range. We start our houses out nothing lower than $600,000, and we take those things up to about $1 million, okay? Now, I say the $850,000 mark, 800, 850 is kind of like the sweet spot. That right there is kind of like the sweet spot right now. And the reason that's the sweet spot is I usually make right about 280 to 300 grand. Okay. Now, here in Vegas, land's a little bit more expensive, a little bit harder to find, and a little bit harder to get. Okay, because people think that if they buy a lot that costs them $200,000, $250,000, they're not going to make any money. How many of you guys feel that way when you guys look at land out there? Because I know there's people in here looking at land. Raise your hand, yes or no? Am I right about Vegas? Land's freaking expensive, yeah? Yeah? Hard to get. How you doing, Lucy? Good to see you. Yeah.
But water and sewer, that killed us.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, you just sell it. So that's going to be someone else's problem. You let them worry about the water and sewer. You just build them, sell them, and let them worry about the water and sewer. Now, in multifamily, that's different, okay? Now, when we come in, guys, you can come in and let me get my phone. Let's look at an area right now. Because I know we used to sell land out here back before the recession. So watch, check this out. Okay. And it's easy for Vegas because there's a lot of $1 million homes out here. There's a lot of
lots for sale right around here.
Not right. Well, yeah, right around here, there's some stuff. Watch. $1 million plus homes for sale in the Las Vegas, Nevada area. Okay, so obviously the luxury homes start popping up. Even Toll Brothers has stuff out here, guys. Let's even look at like Redfin real quick. Let's see what Redfin does. Okay. So we go in $1.58 million. That's an old house. Let's look for something new. Okay, 2 points. So this house is 3,900 square feet over in Edinburgh Creek. You guys know where that is? You guys know where Edinburgh Creek is at? There's some seats up here, guys. There's 2 seats right here. And then we got another one here, and we got some other ones over here. Come on in and join us, my friend. We got some other seats right over here, guys. Come on in and join us. Okay. The zip code on that one is 89138.
Oh, someone will be some.
$2.85 million, okay? I'm not telling you guys to build $2.8 million homes. What I am telling you guys to do is find areas that $1 million homes are getting built in. Why? Because you can go in and be the small guy in an area where $1 million homes are being sold. Because what happens, guys, is this. So if you guys go in and you guys, 74% of homes are being sold at less than $400,000, okay? 2% of homes are being sold to the ultra wealthy. okay? There's not a big enough market pool here. So the reason you guys don't want to go in and build $2 million homes is because if the market shifts, these people are smart. They're not investing in, they're putting their money to work in assets that are cash producing. They're not putting it into a home. Does that make sense? They might be buying homes as an investment, but they're buying them distressed because they're sitting back going, damn, I can pick this stuff up. And these guys are buying cash, okay? Because economic variables, when the economics are not working for the vast majority of the rest of the United States, that's where these people get even wealthier. They're not affected by downturns in the economy. And so there's not enough market pool with 2% to focus here. So sometimes we'll have students, they'll come in and they'll say, hey, Jerome, I'm going to just get just outside your business box. I'll just make a little bit more money. And I can caution yourself, because if you get greedy and you get selfish, you might get stuck with a home. And I had multiple friends that owned insurance companies, restaurants that were really affluent. Not only they lose the houses, but they lost their other businesses in the 2008 recession because they got into the $1 million homes. So I tell people, don't focus on the median homes, because now you have to compete with Toll Brothers, D.R. Horton, Pulte, and all these guys that are going after median homes in volume. And so these guys might be able to pallet $60,000 a unit in profitability. But when you guys go do it, if the market shifts and you have to drop the price of that home, how many of you guys want to work for 6 months and make 30 grand? Any of you guys? No. Because if you do, we used to own a bunch of Subway stores. I can find you guys a good job to sandwich artists, all right? Instead of putting yourself at risk. Otherwise, put yourself in a position where you can make some real friggin' money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so what we do is we focus on this demographics right here, okay? And that demographics, this is a good sweet spot. Here in Vegas, I would tell you guys, push closer to this right here. Now, some of you guys might sit here and say, Jerome, I can't afford $1 million home. I know, I couldn't either when I first started doing this, but your clients can. And the biggest thing that most people don't realize is that we spend our time in a school system that was not taught how to go out and understand commercial financing. We're not even taught about conforming loans, but we learn conforming loans because how many of you guys own a home? How many of you guys own your own home? Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay, so more than half of the room owns their own home. So when you go through the mortgage process, do you kind of learn it? Okay, so now in your brains, you're thinking conforming lending. So when we go in and we're talking about $1 million home, you guys are not as relevant as you think you are to the bank. They want to make sure that you're credit worthy. They're not just going to give money to a nobody that has bad credit or issues, and they're not going to just give you $1 million to go build a house. But you know what they will do? They'll give you a loan on an asset that makes sense. And the biggest thing is most people don't realize that the money is actually in the asset itself, not you. Does that make sense? The bank's looking at you as a credit-worthy person. Can you finish the project so they have a finished asset? That's what they want to know. But what they want to know more than that is they want to know, can this house sell in a demographic area? And if I had to sell this house and this person, I have foreclosed on it, what are we at? What is it worth? Where are we at? What's my spread of security? And can I sell it? Does that make sense? Okay, now, here's what it looks like, guys. So if we go in, and if we take a house, okay, here in Las Vegas, let's look at this again. Let's look for an area, guys. Because I know there's some places in Sutherland Park, there's some places over in Centennial that are good. There's a 3,100 square foot house for $1.3 million here in Las Vegas on Switch Glass Avenue. Nice house. There's a little modern one. Looks like a little adaptive reuse one for $821,000 on Claremont Plant. There's another little 2,700 square foot house. I like these ones. 2,700 square foot house for $1.58 million. 3.5 beds, 4 bedroom. Guys, this would be a good area over on Sky Racer Drive. Okay, we got there you go, Steve. Steven just looks like our Catholic usher right now, just putting some people in some seats. Come in, bring up the communion plate here in a little bit. We'll pass the basket around. You guys can just unload your money in that sucker in just a little bit. We'll put it to good use this weekend on the slot machines and on the blackjack table for you guys. I promise to say a prayer while I'm doing it. Do you ever see those people that bless the machines? Oh, there's me, and they just go in there and start blessing the machines. Yeah, they're blessing their machines to win. Okay, so I'm going to use this house right here. Actually, this one right here is good. This is $1,075,000. It's on Notch Trail in Las Vegas. Okay, this one is 2,600 in 2,601 square feet. Shit, there's a bunch of them here. You guys, good God. Okay, so we're gonna stay in $1 million home, okay? Let me explain this to you guys. I'll just call it just straight $1 million. Okay, so we do $1 million. This is our resale price. Now, land is expensive out here. How much is land gonna cost? You say, what area did you rent? Centennial, how much is a piece of land? Doesn't matter the size of the lot, just 300,000? No, good, no, we don't wanna spend 400 grand, because I start spending into our profit. Now we have to start building like $2 million homes. What are the houses selling for over in Centennial?
Anywhere from 700,000 to $1 million, 2 million.
2 million, okay, so $1 million house would sell it there, okay? So can we find a good piece of land up there from somebody that needs to sell their land for 280 to 300 grand? Okay, so 300 is too expensive, by the way. Don't spend 300 on $1 million home. We're building in Kirkland, Washington, and we usually allocate between 200 and 220 per lot, and our houses are selling for 1.2 to 1.4 million dollars, okay? Now, the way we do it is strategic, so I understand it's gonna cost a little bit more, but let's call it, can we find a lot up there for 250?
Probably, yes.
Not in acres, just a lot. Just a lot. Doesn't have to be an acre, just a lot.
Yeah.
The size of the lot doesn't matter. All that matters is the square footage of the house and as long as the house can sit on that lot. Doesn't matter the acreage. Okay? Is 250, can you find one in Centennial for 250? Yeah, decent lot, buy a nice home for 250, buy $1 million home. Can we find that?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's where you guys want to be. You don't want to go any higher than that. Okay, it has to have utilities. Do those lots have utilities on them? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, most of them? Okay, so we do $250,000. These markers suck. Let me see here.
Check this one out. See, this is a lot right here. It's 300,000.
Oh my God, that would be worse than that one.
Just remember this.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So see, I guarantee you guys can find lots like that. This one's $299, guys. I guarantee there's people out there that want to sell their shit for less than 300 grand. They'll sell it because they'll sell that thing for 250 because there's people that have to sell, man. And they want to get out of it. The area that we're building in right now, guys, lots sell for about 150, but I've been buying lots for between 80 and 100,000. And I just been waiting for them. I just wait till they come my way. And then the brokers call me because we're in the market. And when they call me, they say, hey, Jerome, I got a lot. It's like 120. And I say, if they do it at 100,000, we'll scratch them a check. We'll buy it today, right? Or I'll tell them, yeah, we'll buy it. And I won't tell them that. And I'll try to just linger them on to be able to get entitlements. And then just go in and right when we're ready to get our permits, then we buy the lot. Or you get a construction loan on the lot. Now, so if we do $250,000, you guys, is that legible to you guys?
No.
No? Red's worse. Usually black and blue are usually the good ones. Oh, you might be better. You guys see that better? Okay. Okay, on camera, red sucks, but we'll use it for that. You guys can probably see that better. These ones I didn't use. Okay. Steven, remind me to get markers for tomorrow. Okay, so land. Now, the average cost to build a house right now, guys, is $141 per square foot nationwide. That's the nationwide average. Now, the houses that you guys will be building, $1 million, will cost you guys about $155 a square foot in this Las Vegas market, okay? Now, let's say that you guys screw some stuff up or you guys overspend on a few areas, and let's call it like $165 a square foot. So if you take that same house, it was 2670, was it 2670 I said? It was something like 2670 for $1,070,000. So let's call it 2,600 square feet. Okay, so take 2,600 square feet, guys, and multiply that times $165. Can you guys do that number for me?
Yes. 429.
What is it?
429.
429? Okay, so $429,000. That's gonna be your build cost. Okay, now, we're gonna have closing costs on this. We're gonna have 3% that goes to the buyer's broker, 3% that goes to the to the selling broker, and about 1% that goes to escrow. So your closing costs are gonna be somewhere right around 7%. No? What are they now? Zero now, right? They're working on that.
12 days? 12 days.
There's a countdown now.
It's a countdown
on
on our
our
MLS.
Saying they're
On our
gonna take it
MLS,
off.
it's 12 days.
Really?
Yeah,
Are they really?
there's a countdown.
Nice. See, they're
People
trying
are
to
already
dismantle, they're trying to dismantle the Greater Association of Realtors, is what they're trying to do.
They can do that
It's about 47,000, 48,000.
Yeah, so about 48,000, so 7% times times $1 million is $70,000, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna do $70,000. The resale price is gonna get taken off of this price right here. Okay, so 70K. Now, we're gonna have some debt service on this. Okay, so this is gonna be our debt service. Now, our debt service is gonna be on these two right here, okay? This is gonna be on these two items right here, our land and our build cost. Here's the thing, guys. How many people feel like you have to go out and purchase your land in order to build a house? Raise your hand. Okay, you don't. Put your hands down. Here's the thing, guys. Don't purchase your land. Let the bank do it for you, okay? Here's how. When you guys come in, the bank is looking at this $1 million value. How do you know that this value exists? Because you ran comps. You had a real estate agent, a broker, not your friend, not your cousin, not your broke firefighter buddy that got his real estate license, is moonlighting real estate that you guys feel he needs a commission. You don't use any of those people. Who you use the real estate brokers that are already selling shit in that area. You understand? You don't use your friend. You don't use your sister. You don't use those people. You use the people that are selling real estate in that area that you're going to be selling your real estate. So when you drive through this area, you call the brokers that are dominant in there, the ones that have the vast majority of the listings. You know why? Because they know who your client is. And you're not going to reinvent the wheel. All you're going to do is duplicate what's already working in that area. In 2008, I had a bunch of empty retail. I started buying a bunch of Subway stores. And Fred DeLuca came down because our development agent was selling me more stores than he was supposed to. I was only supposed to buy one store a year, and we scaled into over a dozen stores in less than 2 years. And we were taking stores that were 13 years old that had never done over $5,000 a week in revenue and taking them to $9,000 a week. Fred DeLuca, the founder of Subway, came down. He goes, I want to meet this Jerome guy. What the hell is he doing to get these stores that were broken doing $9,000 a week? So I sat with Fred DeLuca inside one of the Subway stores, and he asked me, he goes, what are you doing differently than my other franchisees? I said, your other franchisees are as dumb as shit. I said, I'm busy. I said, I'm so friggin' busy, I don't have time for bullshit. I looked at Haagen-Dazs, I looked at Smash Burgers, I looked at Panera Bread before they even come to New Mexico. I had looked at every franchise you could think of. We had studied. I had flown around the country, and my son was just born, and asked my wife. I was flying all over the country, meeting with the founders and the owners of all these franchises everywhere, and I landed on Subway because it was the fastest growing franchise at the time, and they had a duplicatable system that worked. And so I told him, Fred, I spent 2 weeks away in Connecticut when my son was an infant, just born. And I said, I didn't want to spend 2 weeks out there. When I went out there, I spent it, and I said, I'm going to make the best damn use of this time as I could, because when I did, I could go in and just duplicate a system that you put together. I didn't want to run it. It wasn't Jerome's way. It wasn't Mike's way. It was friggin' Subway. So all I did is duplicated a system. And the biggest problem is that most people won't duplicate what's already working. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, guys. If shit's selling in that area, don't go reinvent it. Just make exactly what works and what people want in that area. They're telling you what is selling. It doesn't matter what you want to sell. All that matters is what people want to buy in that area. Where you get that information from is comps. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You don't have to go, what do I build? Exactly what's there. If it's selling, you build it. That's all. Okay? So I don't need to teach you like, hey, get a magazine, see what's trending, put that shit in your house, and you sell exactly what's selling in that market. If it's 4-bedroom homes, you sell a 4-bedroom home. If it's a 3-bedroom home, you build a 3-bedroom home. If it's a 3-car garage houses that are selling, you build 3-car garages. If it's 2-car garages, you build 2-car garages. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You duplicate what's working. You don't reinvent the wheel. My mentor taught me that 30 years ago. And I'll tell you guys that don't reinvent the wheel, just duplicate what's already working. Now, when you do that, the banks know that your house will sell. So you don't have to be some genius. You just take those comps to the bank looks at it, and you take your prints. The second you tie up the land, you don't even buy the land. You just tie it up. You get started on these things right here. Write these down, guys. The first thing you do is you get a survey. You ask if the seller has a survey. You haven't even bought the lot yet. If they don't have a survey, you go download an app called Landglide. Okay, I can tell you exactly who owns this property right here. I can tell you the investment group. I can find out exactly who they are. I just go to Landglide. And if you go to Landglide, I just zoom in right where I'm standing. That little blue dot is me. It's on a satellite. This is 2024. And it's owned by MPNH Hotel LLC. Right on the address. And it outlines the entire property for you. You click right there, you go to measurements, and it has your feet. You can go in and get all your dimensions right there. There's your friggin' survey. That's all you need to get started. It's free. Well, Landglide's not free. It's like $99 a month. But the survey, essentially, when you have like Landglide, it's free. You can do your survey right now. You can screenshot it, send it over to your draftsman the moment you tie up that lot, and you put their ass to work immediately. Does that make sense? Immediately. Because now you're working on somebody else's time, and you're working on their dime, their time and their dime. You're not a penny out of pocket. You're going in, you're tying up a lot. You make a commitment on the tie up of the lot. You get a survey, and right away you take that survey to your draftsman or your architect. Okay, your architect goes to work, and they start putting the house that's already being sold in those areas. You can even take one of the same floor plans. We built houses. We went and built some mansions over in Puerto Rico during COVID, and we took this floor plan. And the architects in Puerto Rico were high grossing us. I mean, they were ripping us off, tooth and nail. They were charging us $300,000 for architectural prints for a 7,000 square foot home, 11,000 square foot gross square footage, including porches and garages. $300,000. When it was all said and done with the engineers and everything, we were over $400,000 in for a friggin' set of prints in Puerto Rico. So when we bought the second lot, instead of going in and paying that again, we just took the exact same house, we flipped it, and we added a tower on the front, put an elevator shaft in it, and the people didn't even know it was the same damn house. Same house. $15 million homes. All we do is flip it. Get the same floor plan, change the elevation, have your architect do it. If it's already selling, who cares? Sell the same damn floor plan, make it unique, put a cool little shower with your jacuzzi, with your garden tub in front of it, change it around and make it look a little more modern and make it look unique for yourself and for your buyers, but don't change anything else. Just go out and duplicate what's already there and put it for sale, okay? You put your architect to work, your architect will get you your civil engineering, and you're gonna get your topographic survey, so you can get your topographic survey to your civil engineer. This stuff is gonna take you a few months, and I'll go through that here in a second. But when you first go in, guys, you don't go in and you don't buy the lot. You just tie it up and you position yourself to go in and get financed for the lot. Now, when we go in and we do this, guys, let me take a step backwards here. Okay, I'm going to erase this right here. And let's get over to our debt service so I can show you guys what the profit is, and I'll come back to this. Now, if we take $250,000 and $429,000, you guys, what is that number? What is it? 679. Okay, so your loan amount is going to be $679,000. Okay, now 679 times, let's call it a 9% interest rate on construction money for a single family home. That's $61,000 for a year. That build will take you guys someplace right around 6 months. Okay, the loans escalate. They only charge you interest on the money you've drawn. The bank won't just go in and put $650,000, $700,000 in your bank account and then tell you, sure, have a heyday and go build your house. They'll give it to you in increments based on the completion of that home. So typically you'll pay about 30% of what your annualized interest rate is to be able to go out and service the debt on that. So if you take 61,000 times the average of 30%, so you take times 0.30, that's about $18,000 in debt service. It'll actually probably be a little less than that, but we'll call it 18 grand. That's your total cost. Okay, who can add these up for me? Who can add them up for me? 250, 429, that's 679, 679, 740, what is it?
767.
Yeah, did it say that on your calculator, 760 some? I've never seen a calculator say 760 some on it, man. Okay, 250 plus, damn, damn it, I got a bunch of lazy asses in here. Come on now, you can help me with the calculator. Come on, guys. You guys are stronger than that. I know. I'm looking at a bunch of healthy.
767.
767. There you go. Mine says 760 some.
760.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so we subtract that from $1 million, okay? It's 233. Okay, so your net profit proceeds. So your net proceeds are 233. Okay, now let's say that you guys are less talented than that because it's your first build and you guys only do $160,000. Okay, now I think that you guys will actually make closer to about 280, in all honesty. But we'll call it the 233, and I'll even take that down to $160,000. Okay, now let's say this 160 is our net. Let's say that maybe you partner with a hard money lender. Let's say that you partner with a GC. Maybe they take a little bit of your profits and proceeds, and they walk away with like $50,000 of this right here. And if they do, you're going to be closer to that 160. Okay. So now when we do that, you're going to go in and get a loan. Here's what I want you guys to look at. Pay very, very close attention here. Now, those two numbers are your two most important numbers up there, your land and your build cost. So when we look at your land and your build cost, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at 250 plus 429 for $679,000. Okay? Now watch, pay attention here. You're an investor going after a construction loan. An investment in a commercial loan, the best you're going to get is 80% loan to value. It's stabilized. Okay? So the bank's looking at it as they know it's not your end house for you to live in. They know that as an investor, you're going to just do it as an investment only. So your stabilized loan, they want to make sure that you occupy 20% of the equity stance in that home and they retain 80% of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when you take $1 million and you take 80% of it, that's $800,000, is it not?
Yes.
Okay, so the maximum amount the bank will lend on it inevitably is going to be $800K. Okay, that's your max proceeds. Okay, now the way this works, guys, is they lend on this based on loan to cost. It's called your LTC. Okay, so that's a loan amount based, they'll give you 80% loan to cost. Now, that's your cost to build. Your cost to build is going to be that $679,000, right? Or no, $679,000. That's your cost to build. That's your wholesale cost to build. Okay. How many of you guys want to learn how to get your land included in there? Anybody? Okay. Now, do you think your builder is going to give that house away for you for $629,000? Like if you're the builder, are you just going to let that house go away for $629,000? Yes or no? Hell no, you're going to take all the $1 million, are you not? Okay, so when you do that, you have a spread here between the $629,000 and the $800,000. The bank's not going to lend you more than $800,000, but let's say that you guys have a retail value. Okay, so we know we're going to make 160. I'm going to write that up here. So we see that. So our net is 160. Okay, now the bank will lend you up to $800,000. We know that. Our cost, a real cost, is $679,000. But they're only going to lend us 80%. So we could go in and we can do what's called a retail value, or we can do a wholesale value. We're going to execute based on this. This is the $679,000. This is for our use only, not the bank's. This is for our use. This is what we're executing towards. How many of you guys want to have a little protection and a little bit of security when you're building your first house so that you know you can get it done? Guess what the bank wants? They want that friggin' house done. Okay? They're not trying to throttle you and give you less money, because if they don't give you enough money to finish that house and you don't finish that house, how much is this $1 million house worth if you can't get it finished? It's worth nothing, right? No one's going to buy it. Now it's just a distressed property. So the goal for the bank is they want a finished asset. So the bank is willing to go to bat for you. So you could go in and you could get up to $800,000. So let's say that your budget is underwritten at, let's say, $900,000. It's still $100,000 away from the $1 million value, is it not? Okay, so you take $900,000 and they'll only give you 80% here as well. So if your cost to build is $900,000, the bank, you do $900,000 on your retail budget. On your retail budget, you take 80% of that times 0.80, they'll give you up to $720,000 in loan proceeds. okay? That still gives the bank $280,000 in equity when that house is complete. Is the bank feeling okay? Is the $720,000 less than the $800,000? Okay, so as an investor, are they okay with the amount of proceeds and that 20% equity stake that you're taking? Yes or no? Yes. How many of you guys were taught this stuff in school? Anybody? You guys have this after like health class, sexual education, history? Any of those? Why? You know why? Because you guys were taught how to be great employees. The Rockefellers put our school system together. They screwed every single person sitting in these chairs. We spent 13,000 hours in an education system that's taught to teach you, that was built to teach you guys how to be great employees. You know why immigrants come to our country and freaking kick all of your guys' asses? Because they don't know any different. They didn't spend 13,000 hours in the school system teaching them how to be employees. They came into this country because they understood that this country was built on capitalism, free enterprise. That's what the US was built on. You guys were stuck in shitty schools. I was stuck in shitty schools. We weren't taught this stuff in school. This is how finances work. This is how banking works. This is how lending works. This is how business works. This is how you need to frame what you do from here forward to work for you. Do you understand? Yeah? Do you understand? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we come from a jacked up education system. This shit works. We exercise it every damn day. Not just me, but thousands of students now across the entire United States that are crushing it. Is it as simple as I lay it out? No. You're going to have to jump through hoops a little bit with some of the paperwork and stuff, especially on your first bill? Yes, you will. But once you do it once, you get it figured out one time. You focus on this, guys, once. From there forward, it's a lot easier. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, they'll lend you up to 720K. Okay, this is what they'll lend you. You underwrite for retail, you execute for wholesale. You have a buffer right there of over $50,000 of mistakes you can make, and you can still make profits and proceeds. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so even if you screw that up, you see why I only took $160,000? Because what if it did cost you $720,000? You still have that buffer and that $1 million. You still have a little bit of a betting area. Okay. Now, here's what you do over the next 13 months, ladies and gentlemen. When you come in, we take $160,000. You guys got this? You guys got? Anybody want pictures of this? Can I erase it? You guys good? Okay. Cool. All right, guys. So here's that $160,000. The second you guys tie up a piece of land, don't worry about not having the money. When I got started building houses, guys, I didn't have the money either. I literally had a 420 credit score. I had offices in Jacksonville, Florida, Fairfax, Virginia, San Antonio, Texas, El Paso, Texas, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Allentown, Pennsylvania. Every single one of those leases, when the FTC shut us down in 1997, went dry. I had 7 bad lines of credit. I had in every single one of those offices. I went to Best Buy and I furnished them with surround sound audio because I was stupid and young. And then I would go to Aaron Rents. You guys ever heard of that small furniture rental company called Aaron Rents? I got the same black couches. Baby, what color were our couches in our first house? Black. You know why? Because I pulled them from one of my closed down offices and had black leather couches. Because I go to Aaron Rents and I put those black leather couches in every one of my lobbies, and I build desks and stuff, and I rent all the furniture from Aaron Rents. It was rent to own. And that's the way I built my business. And when we got shut down, I had 7 lines of bad credit from Aaron Rents, 7 from Best Buy, and 7 leases that went bad, plus Bank of Boston, Norwest Bank, and a few other banks that I had bad credit cards on. And I had a 420 credit score. Couldn't do this stuff, guys. But I started building business credit. And not only did I start doing business credit, I started a little construction company. And I built this on sweat equity. And I went in and I did it just exactly the way I'm going to show you guys. I hit over $1 million, making $100,000 per house back in 2000, 1999, 2000, 2001. And damn, I usually wear that Rolex. In 2001, I bought the centennial version of Rolex that here in Vegas at Tersani. What's the name of that Rolex place, Brady? What is it called? Torsori, whatever it is, in Bellagio. Anyways, I went in there one day and I knew I had just made $1 million. My wife's sister's husband now, my brother-in-law, he came out and he came out for someone's bachelor party and I had him bring like $8,000 to put in his pocket. I had $2,000, it cost me 10 grand. I bought the Centennial version. I knew I'd become a millionaire because I had over $1 million in the bank and I just wrote a check to the IRS for over $400,000. Stupid, don't do that, okay? But I had done that and I knew I still had over $1 million in the bank doing this exact same business model and I still use it today because it works, guys. So I was a little bit aggressive in my business model and I didn't even have the money to build it. Like I went in and I got it bought on owner financing. I took out $70,000 that I made pouring concrete, and then I got a $100,000 line of credit for my credit union, and the house was going to cost me another $100,000. But I turned dirt on the house anyways, and I was $100,000 short of finishing that, of having the finances to build that house. How many of you guys would have turned dirt on a house if you were $100,000 short of having the money to finish that house? Any of you guys? No one? Not one person here? None of you guys have? Okay, how many of you guys would turn dirt and on a new build for a house if you knew when you were turning dirt that you were $100,000 shy of having you're $100,000 shy of being able to finish the house? You knew for sure you were $100,000 shy of being able to finish the house. You don't have the finances. You're $100,000 shy of having full finances to build that house. How many of you guys would turn dirt on that house being $100,000 shy of having finances? Like to turn dirt, like to actually go vertical and building a house. How many of you guys would start building a house $100,000 delinquent of what you need in proceeds to build a house? Okay, I did, and I went in. I said, okay, I have 3 months to be able to make 100 grand. And so guess what I did? I friggin' poured concrete. I still own the concrete company today. I friggin' poured concrete and I was pouring driveways and I would go in and I made $10,000, $10,000, $10,000, $10,000, and I made pouring driveways. And then I'd get to month number 3 or 4 and I ran out of money and I'd use a little bit of money I made, got up to month number 4 and I couldn't afford to pay my finished stucco guys, my finished landscaping and that stuff. So guess what I did? I poured more concrete. And what I actually did is I wrote them a check, but I just conveniently forgot to sign the check. Okay, so then they call me and say, hey, I just came down to the bank, the check, I can't cash it. There's no signature. I'm like, oh shit, really? And then I go, oh, it sucks. I said, I'm out of town for the rest of the weekend. Just get on me on Monday afternoon. I'll see you on Monday. Because guess what I was doing all freaking weekend? Pouring concrete. So that on Monday, I could get a check from my homeowner so I had enough money to cash that check on Monday. That's how I did it. Guess how I did my second house? I was 200 grand short. Now we did 2 houses. I did it the exact same way. That's how I did 4, and that's how I scaled 6, and that's how I kept scaling. My wife's like, we still do that. Now we're doing $60 million bills. So anyways, guys, but what you do, guys, is when you come in the first months 1 through 3, okay, this is what 13 months looks like. Months 1 through 3, you come in and you find land. And truth be told, here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to come in here, you know, an epiphany comes over, you guys go, I want to do this shit. And you should. Every single person in here should want to do it. I still do it because it's lucrative. And this, ladies and gentlemen, allows me. Like when I went back to Nucenda, the credit union that's lending us the $22 million for that $30 million bill, I just went back to J. Jacob Enterprises, our construction company that builds homes. And he's like, it has a negative $200-some thousand. I said, I know. I don't use banks. I build all my shit cash. I said, so we expense it. So when we make profits, I just expense the next builds with it so I can depreciate all of that money. So every time I build a house, if I make $300,000, but the house is selling for $800,000, that means I have $500,000 in tax write-offs because I'm expensing $500,000 to build that house. So every year at the end of the year, I have more expenses than I have profits and proceeds. So all I had to do was show the books and show them, look, I really make this much, but I'm my own bank. So instead of me writing off the debt, I'd actually just depreciate the expenses. And as soon as I showed it to him, an epiphany went off. He's like, shit, that's brilliant. And we have $1 million. It just magically came to the bottom line of our books on that one company with just a couple houses. How cool is that? Okay, 0 taxes. Okay, now, listen, guys, for the next 3 months, what's going to happen is you guys are going to sit back and you're going to go, I'm excited, shit, I'm going to do this. Then tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to go, damn, you know what? you got a pit in your stomach, you're gonna reevaluate, contemplate, reconsider. Your wife's gonna tell you you're friggin' crazy because you haven't executed and done the right shit and made shit happen before. And so she's gonna question you, not the process. And then you're gonna sit back, she's gonna kill your dreams, and you're gonna come back, you're gonna watch one of our YouTube videos, and Jerome's gonna be up on YouTube, and you're gonna be like, yeah, fuck that, I'm back, let me show my wife this stuff. And then your wife will be like, oh yeah, this looks nice, but I don't know, right? And then, so for the next few months, then you're gonna drive out to this area, you're gonna Google it, you're gonna look on Redfin, you're gonna drive out to this area, and you're gonna get to this area, and you'll be like, that's my lot. And then you're gonna bring it to a call, because you're working with me in my inner circle, you're gonna bring it to me, and I'm gonna say, no, that lot sucks. You can't do it there because X, Y, and Z doesn't have the utility, something happened. So now you're like super excited, but you're gonna bring it to a call where Jerome sits back and I crush your dreams. And then you come back and you're like, damn, this was harder than I thought. Man, I can't find the right lot. You're going to ride this emotional roller coaster, right, Rich?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Yeah, Rich has been working with me for about 3 years. You just did finish his first build and doing multifamily. He owns a pool company. How are you financing your builds? Pouring pools, right? All right. So when you come in, 3 months later, after you ride this emotional roller coaster, you're going to finally find a piece of land. And the reason that you're going to be able to get that piece of land is because you have a community, you have support, you have people that can stand behind you. Because if you don't, remember, everybody else in the real world came from a jacked up school system that's teaching you guys otherwise. So just go ask every single other person out there. They're going to think that you're all jacked up because I'm telling you that, hey, we live in America. We live in a capitalistic country. You know, you go talk to any immigrant and tell them your business model, they're going to sit back and go, shit, man, I got this business model and I'm taking it with me. Does that make sense? But yet your friends, your family, your colleagues, your relatives, they're gonna down on it because they don't understand it. Okay? 3 months later, you're gonna go out and you're gonna be able to find a piece of land. Now, once you do that, it's gonna take you, when you find your land, it's gonna take you at least 2 months to get your architecture, engineering done, and go through the process. You tie up your land months 3 through 5. So say it takes you months 3, 4, and 5, 3 months. And you go through your architecture, you get your survey, your architecture. Number 3, you get your engineering, and you start working on going for your permits. Okay, you do your trust engineering, you do all of your stuff. So you start going in and you start getting ready for permits and lending. Okay, now months number 5 and 6. You're going through permits, plan review, and lending underwriting. Okay? Now, when you guys get over here, the second you guys get over here, this is where it gets a little nerve-wracking because you don't know what the hell you're doing. Okay? But this is where it actually gets exciting. So you're going to have some mixed emotions of excitement and a little bit of fear because you've never done this stuff before. This is where you guys come in and you guys, how many of you guys love to have the support when you come in and your bank asks you for something, you have absolutely no freaking clue what it is, and you have absolutely no clue how you're going to produce it to be able to have a community to bring it to, and then you work through it with them, and then they show you how to put it together. How many people would love to have that? Raise your hand. Okay? Now, another thing they're going to ask you for is they're going to ask you for a budget sheet to break down your entire expenses. And on that budget sheet, they're going to ask for every line item of all your expenses. How many of you guys want to put that budget sheet together on your own? How many of you guys would like to have an Excel document that shows your budget sheet, tracks your expenses for you, that we built, we use, and you can give right to your lender, and it goes to 100% of every single friggin' line item that you're going to have on that entire bill? How many of you guys would love to have that spreadsheet? Okay. You guys come to Scottsdale with us, I'll give you that spreadsheet. You guys come and you guys work under my wing, you guys will also get that spreadsheet because that spreadsheet is worth its weight in gold. Now, you're going to have 2 of these. You're going to have one that's your retail and one that's your wholesale. You're going to give the retail one to your lender. And then as you go through your bill, you're going to track it on the other side and do the data entry step by step. You don't even need employees, guys. You can go out and do at least 4 of these on your own without any employees, just you. You contract everything else out. That spreadsheet in itself can keep you organized, where you don't even have to have an accountant that works for you. You can give that to your CPA at the end of the year on your profit and loss statements. And as you go through and as you're writing checks, if you're organized, how many of you guys are organized? No? All right. Don't work with him. No, I have a girl, her name is Miranda, that works with me. I first asked her, Miranda comes in and we're on a call And she goes, oh no, Jerome, I'm horrible with paperwork. She goes, look at my desk. And she turned her camera around and it was like a friggin' tornado within her desk. And I go, so who tracks that stuff for you? She goes, nobody. And I go, no one worked with Miranda. I said, nobody worked with Miranda. And now you go, I'm just joking, Miranda. Miranda now, she's a stay-at-home mom, 4 kids. Her husband is a computer geek, doesn't know anything about building. She's on her 6th house. She's been working with us for 2 years. She's making over 300 grand per house right now. She gave 50% of her money to her hard money lender on her first bill, on her first 2 bills, where she made 300 grand, gave 150,000 to her hard money lender, and she kept $150,000. How many of you guys would do that to get in the game? Yeah, everybody, guys, everybody. So look, there's so many different ways, and I'm proud of Miranda. She's just freaking crushing it. She's doing her first multi-unit deal right now. She's on her 6th house. Okay, so month number 5 and 6, you go in, you're going through plan review and lending. Now, month number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, you're going to go in, you're building a house. Okay, so month number 6 through 11, you're building. Okay, now, month number 11 and 12, so months 11 and 12, you have your house for sale. Month number 13, you're cashing in, okay? $160,000. National average for a house sitting in the market today is 24 days, okay? Now, does that mean your house is going to sell in 24 days? I don't know. Some houses are selling 1 day, some houses sell in 60 days. Some houses are sitting for 200 days. If you do your comps right and you give your customers what they're looking for in that area, your house will sell, I promise. Just do your comps when you're going in and you're starting your build. If you do your comps and you see what's selling and you don't go out and do it your way, you do it whose way? The homeowner's way, Subway, right? You do it Subway. So month number 13, you guys cash in, okay? You make $160,000 net profit. Now here's the goal, guys. It'll take you, do one house all by yourself. Even if you think you have it all figured out and you have it all together, just do one, guys, just one at a time. And the reason why is go make mistakes, get comfortable. I've had people that go in, they try doing 2, and then they over leverage themselves just a little bit. And if you make any mistakes, it becomes extremely stressful. I don't want you guys under stress. Go out and just do 1. Figure it out. And then the next year, go do 2. If you do 2 in year number 2, that's going to be that's $320,000, right? In year 2. Year number 3, double that, do 4. And if you never do more than 4 a year, you're still making $640,000 a year net, guys. Doing 4 homes a year. It's not cryptocurrency. It's not NFTs. It's real estate. It's new construction. It's going on everywhere right around you. You guys understand? It's a real business. A business that you can do for the rest of your life. You can let your kids do it. My son, right now, the reason the papers are on the floor in the living room is because you guys have kids. How many of you guys have kids? Okay. So even though you can teach your kids how to make a bunch of money, how hard is it for you to get your kid? How hard do you think it is for you to get your kids to sit down with me to staple friggin' plans to go in for permits? It's difficult. So those plans are going to sit in the living room bugging the shit out of everybody until my son sits with me and staples those damn things together so that we can take them in for permits. Because what I'm teaching my son is exactly what I'm teaching you guys. Make sense? If it's good enough for my kids, it's good enough for you guys. My kids will learn this because I told them one thing. I said, you guys go do whatever you guys want. But if you guys go out and you guys learn how to do this, I know for sure without a shadow of a doubt, you'll always be taken care of. You'll live a really good life. Does that make sense? Okay? And that to me as a parent is what's most important. So what I'm teaching you guys is the exact same things I'm requiring my kids to do. The second my son graduates high school in another year and a half, that when he finishes, he's set up to take his contractor's license and get his contractor's license that summer before he leaves to college. We only have a few weeks because he, hopefully, God willing, he gets his football scholarship. Well, he already has a football scholarship coming into his sophomore year, but hopefully he stays healthy to sustain that. But I told him, you always have that to fall back on. You'll make more money doing that than you will with any college degree. Make sense? Okay, it's a real business, guys. Do this. You guys focus on this right here. One thing, the reason that people continue coming back and back is because maybe it takes you a year just to get comfortable to do it. But The one thing that you guys will realize is that what we do, it works. And it's incredible. You go out and you add this up over 3 years, guys, 160, 320, 640. That's $1 million, was that $1,120,000? $1,120,000 net, okay? How many of you guys in 3 years would love to have a bank account with $1.1 million in it? Okay, how many of you guys want to write a check for 400,000 to 500,000? That's the IRS. Okay. See, here's the thing, guys. It's one thing to learn how to make it. It's another thing to learn how to keep it. Does that make sense? Now, here's the biggest problem in business is that most people don't have a tax strategy. One of some of the best business owners in the world, the smartest, wealthiest people in the world, all own real estate. Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. They all own real estate. You know why? It's the best tax shelter in the entire world. And so one of the biggest things, guys, is how many of you guys would love to learn how to not pay any taxes on that? Anybody? Okay, I'm going to share that with you guys. Now, at the beginning, what I told you guys is this, is I want to take 3 to 5 of you guys, okay? Because the only thing I have enough time for is 3 to 5 of you guys. And I want to take 5 of you guys under my wing to show you guys how to parlay this. How many of you guys would like to join me in Scottsdale, by the way, and spend an entire day doing this? Now, here's what Scottsdale looks like real quick, okay? Because anybody who I take under my wing is obviously going to be there. We're just going to parlay the process. And what Scottsdale looks like is in the morning, we're going to do a morning intensive. Then we're going to go in on the residential side of things, and I'm going to bring this spreadsheet down. We're going to do an entire breakdown. Now, in Dallas, we didn't do breakup in groups. I did it from stage. In Phoenix, what we're going to do is we're going to break out in groups, and you guys are going to work together, and you guys are going to underwrite the entire process of a house in Phoenix on our first session, okay? My Build Wealth community, people like Rich Maine, are going to be out there, and we're going to have a lot more. We have 100 people in our Build Wealth community. We'll probably have about a dozen of them out there. They'll be at tables with you guys, circled in there. And in those tables, they'll be helping you guys underwrite it in the morning. Now, I'll feed you guys lunch. Lunch is on me. I'm not going to feed you guys bologna sandwiches. I'm going to feed you guys a damn good lunch, okay? Was lunch good in Dallas?
Very good.
Yeah, full spread, right? Yeah, we did it right, did we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it right. And I'm going to do it right for you guys in Scottsdale. And here's what's cool about Scottsdale. In 1995, I went to a conference called Journey Beyond Perception. It was hosted at the Fairmont Princess Resort in Scottsdale. It's where the Waste Management PGA Tour, it's the largest PGA Tour in the world, is hosted every single year. In that hotel, it was life-changing for me. I didn't make a dime in multi-level marketing until 1995. When I went to that training, it was called Journey Beyond Perception. Within 30 days of coming back from that training that was in the Scottsdale Fairmont Princess Resort, I went from making almost nothing to making over $20,000 a month, and most of it was just mindset. I went back to that exact same training a year later to take it again. It was a week-long training. Back in 1995, I paid over $3,000 to go to that training. Guess where we're going to host our event this year? At the Fairmont Princess Resort in Scottsdale, because that has good energy. That's where I made a big pivot in my life, and I want to share that with you guys in that same exact resort that I was in 1995, because that place holds a really tight place in my heart in my entrepreneurial journey for the last 32 years I've been self-employed. So look, ladies and gentlemen, the afternoon, we're going to go into multifamily, and I'm going to explain to you guys exactly how to take that tax-free by scaling into just a small 8-unit multifamily apartment complex. And for those of you guys that are here today, I'm going to break here in a little bit, and I'm going to bring up somebody that's going to talk to you guys about cost segregation, a gentleman named Ryan that is actually a CPA. How many of you guys would like to hear from a CPA that talks about cost segregation and learn how to do this correctly by an accountant and a CPA that's licensed instead of me? Anybody? Okay, so you guys get a freebie today. He's going to come and talk to my Build Wealth community tomorrow at a little bit higher level. But since he was going to fly in, and he flew all the way down from Chicago to be here tomorrow, I asked him, I said, Ron, would you mind coming in and talking to this group who came in and paid absolutely nothing to be here, but share with them and pour into them a little bit about what we do as investors on our end, and share with them how they can take advantage of doing it. How many of you guys would love to do that? Okay, you guys willing to hang out with us for a few extra minutes at the end of this today? Okay, now, before we do this, there's 5 of you guys that I want to work with, and there's an investment involved in working with me. Because when I got started in 1993 in multi-level marketing, I was required to invest in myself. And I will not work with anybody who's not willing to invest in themselves. Only 5% of the world is willing to invest in themselves. Okay? Now listen, those 5 people that come in and work under my wing will parlay your process. So by the time we get to Scottsdale, I want to use you as a testimonial and walk you across stage with your lot that we're already working on between now and the time we get to Scottsdale. How many of you guys would like to do that testimonial and somebody that's working to be able to go in and do that? Okay, what would it be worth to you guys if you knew that you were going to make $160,000 in 13 months from now if you apply what we're doing? Now, I'll be honest with you guys, okay? Before you make this decision, let me tell you guys this, and I'm going to be brutally honest. 85% of you guys sitting in the chairs today will fail. Truth be told. 85% of you guys. How does that feel?
Awesome.
Still 15 left.
Look, guys, there's still 15 left, right? He's like, well, I'm one of the 15. The reason that 85% of you guys will fail is because you'll never take action. One of my mentors years ago, he told me, he goes, Jerome, who's the best baseball player that ever lived? I'll ask you guys a question. Who's the best baseball player that ever lived? Wrong. Barry Bonds?
Pete Rose.
Wrong. Pete Rose? Wrong.
Derek Jeter, really.
Wrong. Who else? No, wrong. Who? No, Cobb sucks. I'm just joking, bro. I'm just joking. And so just like you guys, I kept rattling off all the best baseball players. And he kept going wrong, 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 wrong. And I go, who the hell's the best baseball player that ever lived? And he goes, I don't know. And I go, and he goes, and you don't either. He goes, no, neither does the world. Because the best baseball player that ever lived never stepped up to the plate to swing the bat. And the best person that's going to do the best, what I just talked about today, will never do the best because they never stepped up to swing the bat. The reason 85% of the people that are sitting in these chairs today will fail is because you never took action. So I'm looking for 5 people that are action takers, that I don't have to fight with, I don't have to nurse, that are action takers, and they really want to go out and do something. And join and work with a group and a community, and me personally and directly. How many of you guys love to have me for an hour and a half to 2 hours every single week to ask questions and be able to have in your back pocket? Give you guys all the tools, all the resources that you guys need in order to do it. Yes or no? Okay. Now let me tell you guys, what is it worth to you guys to be able to do that? What would it be worth to you to be able to come up with? What type of investment? Would you give me $160,000 to do it? Probably so, right? Yeah. If you knew you were going to be able to take it with you and be able to make $1 million, would you give $160,000 though? Yeah. It's not even a question, right? Okay. So what would you guys give one time to work with me forever? One time. What would you guys invest in yourself one time? Action takers. There was a young lady. What would you invest one time? 20,000? 30,000? One time? Yes? No? Yeah? More? Okay. I would. I've invested a lot. Rich has given me a lot of money. Has it been worth it? Yeah. I mean, Rich has probably given me $50, $60, $70,000, I bet, right? Rich, probably. I mean, I don't know. Probably.
You're talking about the education or a
Yeah.
partnership?
Not partnership.
Yeah.
I don't partner with nobody,
Okay.
but my wife. My wife's my only partner in life.
Okay.
Okay, that woman right back there, that's my wife right there. That's my partner right there. She's my only partner. All right? But to be able to have the community, it's better than just having me. It's not only one person. I can't take everybody, right? But I can take 5 of you guys. Look, guys, to come into our community is $10,000 to come into our community. $10,000 one time. We don't do, it's one time, and we never, ever, or ever in your pockets ever again. And the reason why is because you can have access and work with us forever. You have access to me as long as I'm doing education the rest of your life until we're doing it. So that way, as you phase and you guys resume up, you guys can come to stuff. Just like Rich and these guys, they come and they can join us with anything that we're doing, and they're part of everything that we do, no matter where they are. Now, the biggest thing is if you get started today, I have a team back here. Okay, if you're an action taker and you want to get started with us and you want to be one of those 3 to 5 people, just raise your hand really quick, guys. Raise your hand. Okay. Now, if you have your hand up, stand up right now. For all of you guys that have your hand up, go ahead and stand up right now. Okay. And then take a look to the back. You guys see Stephen and you guys see Jeremy back there? Okay, with their hands up. I want you guys to go back there and they're gonna help you guys onboard today and get started. Let me know when we get the first person that onboards, guys, okay? Thank you, guys, YouTube. God bless you guys. You guys have a good one.
Good job.
Okay. Now, look, guys, the rest of you guys hang tight because I'm going to let you guys, I want to invite you guys to come to Dallas, and then I have a little treat for you guys. Okay. Now, how many of you guys are feeling like now, like, damn, I want to be part of that group. Right? Now, look, guys. Give me 1 second here. Okay. I'm going to set this up so that way I have